Ed and Lorraine Warren are well known for the paranormal cases they have worked on throughout the years. Over the course of their career, they have investigated over 10,000 paranormal cases. But here's the thing. A lot of people think that they are frauds and made up elaborate stories for fame and fortune. From helping families fake paranormal activity to bribing people to fake possession. Let's talk about this and more only in today's video. Top 5 times Ed and Lorraine Warren were exposed as frauds. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to Top 5. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And also, let me know in the comments below, do you believe that the Warrens were frauds? Do you believe in ghosts? Let me know. And now, let's get on with the video. Starting off this countdown, we have the Smurl family haunting. Back in the 1980s, the Smurl family swore that their house was haunted. They would hear loud noises, smell foul odors, and hear pig grunts. Apparently, whatever was haunting their house also threw their dog to the wall and pushed one of their daughters down the stairs. Of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren came to investigate, and they claimed that this place was haunted. They even said that they saw a message appear on a mirror that read, "Get out." But get this, members of the clergy were brought in to do a blessing and exorcism on the house. And guess what? They reported nothing unusual happened there. In fact, one of the priests had this to say about the Warrens, and I quote, "They weren't sincere, were not what they purported to be, and were given to sensationalizing." In the end, the church said that the family was just stressed over the health of their son who had brain surgery, and the foul odor that they smelt was because of a cracked sewer pipe right by their home. But the Warrens were adamant that the house was haunted, and then they turned the story into a book and made some money, so just saying. Coming in at number 4, we have the Amityville horror. This probably is one of the most controversial paranormal cases of all times. Because in the end, the whole thing was just one big sham. Here's a little rundown. On November 13th of 1974, Robert Butch DeFeo killed his parents and then his 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The house was then put up for sale and the Lutz family moved in. And apparently, the demon that got Butch to do that horrific deed started to attack this new family. Their doors and cupboards would swing open and close, green slime would ooze from their ceiling, and one time a demonic face with red glowing eyes was seen looking into the house, so on and so on. Now, how were the Warrens involved? Well, when paranormal investigators heard of what happened, they all contacted the family to go investigate the house for themselves. Of course, the Warrens were one of the individuals to contact them and set up a time to go check out the house for themselves. They spent the night at the house with others to see if it truly was haunted. In the end, they concluded that it was. Lorraine Warren claimed that she sensed great malevolence in the house and that there were multiple demonic entities there. But this was all BS because William Weber, Butch's lawyer, admitted that he made up this whole story along with George Lutz and a writer, Jay Anson. He said, and I quote, "They created the story over many bottles of wine. They admitted the house was never really haunted. They just made it all up." Which means so did the Warrens. Coming in at number 3, we have the Enfield haunting. This is the case that was featured in The Conjuring 2. The case involved a young girl named Janet Hodgson, who was said to have been possessed by a spirit. The spirit would throw objects across the room, make noises in their house, and sometimes would levitate Janet into midair. Ed and Lorraine Warren were assigned to this case and to expel the evil entity responsible for all this. But turns out that Janet and her sister Peggy made this whole thing up. In 2015, when Janet was 45 years old, she said that her and her sister faked some of the paranormal activity. So according to researchers, most of the paranormal things happened when no one was actually looking at the 2 girls. Like they would have their backs turned to them and then all of a sudden an object would be thrown across the room. Well, obviously the girls were just doing that themselves. They also said they captured audio of a dresser falling over on its own. But upon closer inspection, footsteps could be heard leading up to the dresser before it fell over, meaning someone likely just pushed it over. And the photos of Janet apparently levitating in midair look more like she just jumped off her bed. Janet also confirmed that this was the case. So the whole Janet being haunted by a ghost? Yeah, it was made up, and the Warrens went along with it. Also, according to other sources, the Warrens' involvement in this case was very little. Apparently, they just showed up one day uninvited and only stayed one day and then left. They didn't really help the family. It seemed more like they wanted to just gather information on this case to then talk about it publicly and, receive fame and fortune. In our second spot, we have the Snedeker family haunting. This is the family haunting that the Haunting in Connecticut movie and book was based off of. Story goes that Alan and Carmen Snedeker moved into a home with their daughter and 3 sons. While exploring their home, they found weird stuff in their basement, like tools morticians would use. That's when they found out that their home used to be a funeral home. And that's when the haunting started. Their eldest son started getting terrifying visions and started seeing ghosts. And also, apparently, one day as Carmen was mopping the kitchen floor, the water just turned into blood and then smelled of decaying flesh. So on and so on. You get it. In 1986, the Warrens investigated the home and claimed it was indeed infested with demons. But here's the thing. A man named Ray Garton was hired by the Warrens to write a book about the haunting. Later, he revealed that the Snedeker family apparently had serious problems with drugs and alcoholism. When he interviewed the family, they couldn't keep their story straight. And they all had different accounts for what happened. So he went to Ed and told him this problem, and Ed said, and I quote, "You've got some of the story. Just use what works and make the rest up. Just make it up and make it scary." So the writer literally made up like 90% of the story on his own. On top of that, the neighbor living in the upstairs apartment in this haunted home claimed nothing paranormal ever happened to them. And on top of that, no one who has lived in this home after the Snedeker family has had any paranormal experiences. So it looks like the haunting was just made up by this family, and then the Warrens went along with it for the money and the book deal. And in our number 1 spot, we have The Devil Made Me Do It. This is the case that was featured in the film The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. It revolves around a man named Arn Cheyenne Johnson, who in 1981 fatally stabbed his landlord, Alan Bono, to death. But he claimed that he was totally unaware what he was doing and that the devil made him do it. In fact, his case was the first court case where the defense was arguing demonic possession. And of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in this case. In fact, they might have made up this whole story for him to get away with murder. Let me explain. It's wild. So according to the story, Arn's brother-in-law, David Glatzel, was the first one to be possessed by this demon. He claimed a man with big black eyes and a thin face with animal features was controlling him. In reality, David was never possessed. He was mentally ill and needed professional help. According to David's brother Carl, he claimed that his whole family was manipulated by the Warrens. He claimed that the Warrens promised his family that they would become millionaires if they insisted that David was haunted by demons. In the end, he actually sued the Warrens for trying to exploit his brother's mental illness and for attempting to get a guilty man to walk. Now, where does Johnson come into play? Well, he claims that he got the demon out of David by telling it to take him instead. And that's how he supposedly became possessed. But like I said, this whole thing was orchestrated by the Warrens as a get-rich scheme. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which one of these cases shocked you the most? And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 5 Most Haunted Items at the Warren Occult Museum. It was a video that Keegan did. J.O. Got Beats commented, even a picture is enough to put the curse into effect. Shows 6 different pictures of the cursed object. Yeah, you guys are screwed. You're all cursed. Good thing I didn't watch the video, but bye guys. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not. It's a little spooky, not gonna lie. Mr. Mike commented, I wonder how many objects have real backstories and how many are just random cool junk found at yard sales or collected from freak shows or exotic foreign far-off places. Wow. I think that some of these cursed items are probably just found at garage sales and then the person was just like, oh no, it for sure is haunted. You can have the haunted object for thousands of dollars. I mean, it's kind of smart, maybe. John Phillips commented, definitely go there. Knowing my luck, I'd get possessed. Yeah, no thanks. I honestly do want to go to their museum, which I think is closed right now. I would want to go there, but also I really don't want to get possessed by Annabelle, so maybe not. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm showing out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Top 5 for more spooky videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and stay spooky, YouTube. I'll see you when I see ya. Ed and Lorraine Warren are well known for their paranormal cases. Jeez. They would hear loud noises, smell foul odor. He said, I don't know why it sounded like that.